Shalom. Shalom and welcome. This is Extinction Protocols. It is a series of messages to those who will be among the final exodus and those who would be martyrs, who are called to be martyrs for the reign of Yahushua. It is a message to those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, Yahuwah, and who have come to accept that it is Yahushua that is our Messiah, our Mashiach, and that no man can come unto the Father except by the Son. Yahushua, our Messiah. It is a message to you whom I believe will represent the true olive trees, true Yasharal, commonly known as Israel, who will emerge before the world, who will be represented in these end times in ranks that will fulfill what is written regarding 144,000, 12,000 from each of the true tribes of Yasharal. And whether you realize it or not, whether you believe it or not, and the multitude, a number which will be large and which we will be unable to count, that will represent every nation, kindreds, and tongues, who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father and accept Yahushua as Messiah. Together we are made one. We are grafted together as one in Yahushua Messiah, and it will be under the banner of Yasharal. Today is May 22nd, 2014. My name is Symmanayah if you're tuning in for the first time. This segment of Extinction Protocol represents part two of the segment entitled History, Current, and Future. If you are tuning in for the first time to this segment, I invite you to consider listening to part one. Pray and do as you are led. If you are returning from listening to part one, I salute your patience and your endurance. I pray that you're able to discern and understand and respond to what must be done. With that said, let us continue as it relates to history, current, and future. What we are lacking is the ability to recognize how to prioritize our time and manage it wisely as we receive continued mercies and favors from the Most High. My brothers and sisters, it is important that we come to realize that this journey will not always present the opportunities that lie before us. It would be wise to begin walking in wisdom and managing our time more wisely. I strongly encourage each and every listener to this message to begin valuing their time, our time, the time we have, and come to grips that a refining process has indeed begun. End times are here, and the best thing that we can do is to discover balance as we manage our time, from studying history to recognizing what the Spirit of Yahushua is saying during these current days and taking heed to orders and commands regarding preparation for our future. I invite you to consider getting your house in order, and yes, this includes me getting my house in order. I invite you to pause for a moment while you still have breath, a heartbeat, a sound mind, and are under the mercies of the Most High Father Yahuwah, to consider examining all that is going on with your life and how you're spending your time. Allow me to present a possible reflection of how one might spend a week only to follow the cycle again over and over again until the return of our Mashiach, or until catastrophic situations up to and including death occurs. Yes, we often live in a routine. We are caught up in the behavior of business as usual. But this will end, my brothers and sisters. Let me set a reflection of a typical week. There are 7 days in a week, and with each day being 24 hours, it brings us to a total of 168 hours in a week. Now let's begin to examine the math on how one might use this time, of which is given to us by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Almighty Father. Remember Deuteronomy 8:3, Matthew 4:4, and Luke 4:4, which informs us indeed that every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High Father is how we are able to live. If a person is guarding the Shabbat, the seventh day, and we're going to take under consideration everything that you would do in that 24-hour period, so sleep, washing up, fellowship, studying, eating, all of that. If that's all wrapped up in that 7th day and you're guarding it, that will equal 24 hours. And if we subtract this number from 160 hours in a week, that leaves 144 hours left. If a person works, let's say 37 hours per week, and we subtract this number from 144, it leaves 107 hours. Bear with me, my brothers and sisters. Now let's consider bathing before or after work. And let's consider using 1 hour each day. Now remember, I already taken under consideration Shabbat. So if we do 1 hour each day for the remaining 6 days, that will equal 6 hours. And if we take that 6 hours from 107 hours, we are left with 101 hours left. Moving along, sleep is a vital part of our lives. So let's consider if we get 7 hours of sleep per day of rest, or at least laying down, but a block of time of 7 hours per day, that adds up for 6 days to 42 hours. Once we subtract 42 hours from the remaining 101 hours, we now have 59 hours remaining for the week. If we commute to work and take a minimum of a half hour going and a half hour returning, this would equate to 1 hour per day. And if we work 5 days per week, it would equal 5 hours. Now let's subtract 5 hours from the remaining 59 hours, and that leaves us with 54 hours left for the week. If we spend 1 hour per day in communications, whether it's texting, cell phone conversations, landline talks, or what have you, just in communication alone, this would total 6 hours. And subtracting this number leaves us with 48 hours. If we watch an hour and a half of television or spend it on the internet regularly, this would equate to 9 hours. If it's just a half hour, an hour and a half rather, 90 minutes, an hour and a half for 6 days would equal 9 hours. Now, if we take that 9 hours from the remaining 48, we are left with 37 hours. Now, if we have children and or other loved ones that require our attention, let's say 4 hours per day, including the time from their awakening to the time they go to sleep. Whether it's children or senior that we're caring for, a loved one that we're caring for, or whether it's a husband or a wife or wives. If we look at 4 hours per day given to them, it would equal 24 hours. And by subtracting 24 hours from the remaining balance of 37 hours, we are now left with 13 hours. If we take 3 hours once a week for washing clothes, cleaning our homes or apartment, washing our vehicle, or just general miscellaneous cleaning, that will leave 10 hours remaining. Now, if we divide 10 hours remaining over a period of 6 days, we only have roughly an hour and possibly 40 minutes per day left for anything else. Keep in mind, I did not even put down the time for shopping for groceries or miscellaneous errands. Notice, I did not even put down quality time for scripture study and fellowship beyond Shabbat, which is critical, my brothers and sisters. Let alone prayer. Taking the time set aside for prayer. For those of you who have not learned how to pray without ceasing. Prayer is merely communication with the Most High. Speaking, listening, being mindful, keeping our minds focused on Him. I realize those of you who listen to this might say that this exercise is anal. Some might say it's nerdy, unnecessary, and it's being too abrupt or over the top. But the measurement of time is real, my brothers and sisters. The realities of what occurs in our day-to-day routines are a reflection of what's actually happening now. I invite you to replay the breakdown of how you use your time. Add the hours and minutes consumed each day and for your week. Now I ask you, do you honestly think the Most High Father Yahuwah is functioning on our schedule? Do you actually think that he's waiting for us to fit him into our daily routines? Do you honestly believe we control the schedule of the Most High? Can we alter or change his awesome plans for us? My brothers and sisters, there will be a final exodus, and Yahshua will emerge and be guided into an appointed place of safety. Should we not become familiar with his voice, it would be most regrettable. It is time to begin to seek out the ability to grow in discernment and understanding and identifying the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua, whether it's directly to our spirit or through us one towards another, or through one of his chosen leaders or one of his sent messengers. It would be wise to discern and understand there are many details with intricacies that are unimaginable that will come to light as we are refined. The days are coming. I say they are here now for us to begin accepting the responsibilities that we have, things that are currently pressing, things regarding our current needs. There are current instructions and orders from the Spirit of Yahushua. There are current warnings, either directly or as he works through us one towards another, or via his chosen leaders, his watchmen, or sent messengers. I strongly encourage you to consider that we are indeed being refined to be used in the fulfillment of scriptures regarding the 144,000 and the multitude, those who will be true olive trees and golden lampstands. In our refinement, we will come to believe and accept that we are being prepared for our future, and that the time we spend researching history must be brought into balance and reduced, and we will come to recognize what is pressing currently. I will stop here for part 2, and I invite you to continue on as we press into part 3 of this 3-part segment entitled History, Current, and Future. Stay tuned, my brothers and sisters, as we move into part 3. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.